I'm Lizzy. This is my living room concert. I'm so excited. Please let me know in the comments if you can't hear me because I don't know. So definitely tell me that as soon as possible. I'm going to play tonight some songs from my new album, which just came out 2 days ago, which is super exciting. And also one song that is not on the album, which is like a little special treat for you at the end. Awesome. Okay. So the first song that I'm going to play for you is one of my favorites from the album, and it's called Plea. And it was originally titled Whoops, fun fact. It was titled WHOOPS with an exclamation point. And I changed the name because I thought that didn't make any sense. And it's kind of about, I guess, like overcommitting yourself to too many things, which I think I kind of struggle with sometimes. And it's kind of like, I'm exhausted. Please leave me alone, basically, is the like meaning, I guess, of the song. But it also has some interesting kind of like undertones of like, I guess, growing into your like desire to do a lot of things. Yeah, so this is called Plea, and it's from my new album, Light. I am the light that the dark can see. Send your memos back to me. And I'm sorry. Sorry, I apologized a few too many times. I know it's awful. I've got bad habits, but so do you. So everybody pick your noses. Ooh. Clear your planner Thursday so I won't forget to chastise you. I'm only trying to say I'm dead. Please stop asking for more instead. I'll repeat it's in your head now. Perhaps you'll understand I'm trying to. Please remind me what I do. I'll forget to thank you. I'll be the empty jar on the floor, and you won't have to wash me anymore with your boring, boorish behavior. I know it's only for an hour or two till you decide you've changed your mind. Why don't you leave it behind? I've got bad habits, but so do you. So everybody pick your roses. Ooh. Clear your planner Tuesday so I won't forget to say I love you. I'm only trying to say I'm tired. Please stop asking how I'm wired. I'll repeat the same old tired now. Perhaps you'll understand I'm tried and true. Please remind me what to do. I'll forget to thank you. Okay, that was my first song that I'm going to play for you today. My name is Lizzy. In case you're just tuning in, this was Plea, which you just heard. The next song I'm going to play for you is a big change of pace. It's called Used, I Don't Even Know You. Oh, sorry. And it's a more, I guess, depressing song. I wrote it pretty recently, but I'll give you a little bit of backstory without giving too much information. Essentially, I received a phone call from a friend who I hadn't heard from in a really long time, like months and months. And I was in a practice room at the time at Brandeis's campus, and I answered the phone call, and she unloaded a bunch of personal information on me and then hung up. And I was kind of like, what? When she hung up, I was like, what? I feel like I don't even know you. And then this song came immediately, pretty much after that conversation. And yeah, so this is I Don't Even Know You. I don't even know you anymore. Walk out my life, walk out that door. Say it's only for a little while. I don't even know you anyhow, but you pretend that even now you can read me with a smile. You call me up like nothing's wrong, like this is how we've been all along, when it's been months since I've been strong. And you got me so confused, and I'm wondering if I thought every breath, every word that we said all in my head. 'Cause you left me feeling used. I don't even know you anyway. It's not just me, not just today. Who knows if we'll ever reconcile? I don't even know you. Anything could happen and you'd still be king. I'm struggling, you're ahead by a mile. You act like everything's okay, like we have always been this way. Oh, I have nothing left to say. You got me so confused, and I'm wondering every thought, every breath, every word that we said all in my head. 'Cause you left me feeling used. And you got me so confused, Okay, that was called Used from the new album Light. Most of these songs are. The next song I'm going to play for you is another change of pace, and I'm going to drink some water first because I sang really high. Okay, this song is very old. In fact, it is quite old. It was written in, I think, 2014. So I was 14 years old at the time. And it was written during a blizzard, but the song is not about that at all. It's a cute little love song, and it's called Dream of You. We've been friends, and possibly more than that. I'm sure it will come about that our souls are intertwined into one, and our hearts have fallen in love, which is so strong it follows us and helps us sing the song of life. Carry on as if it was not very strange. You've got the potential to be someone great. Perhaps you are someone great. Oh, who am I kidding? You are. You haven't changed since we first met, and let our hearts arrange themselves to be what no one else could be. They sneakily stole away in our dreams and let themselves be free. Though it wasn't easy, they found it wasn't there. They couldn't be in anything besides true love. And now that I have seen the face of love, I cannot help but dream of you. Okay, that was Dream of You from the album Light, as almost all of these are. This next song is a fan favorite, as I have recently learned, because this album only came out 3 days ago, 2 days ago. 3 days ago. 3 days ago. And it's a pretty weird one. It's called I'm Not Crying, I Swallowed a Lake and It's Leaking. It's a bit of a mouthful of a title. And it's pretty yeah, I don't know, it's weird. But I think it's an interesting song. It's kind of like when I wrote it, I was in a state of feeling sad and not knowing why I was sad. Um, and like going through what could it be that's making me upset. And also trying not to let myself be upset. Which I think everyone has the right to be upset every once in a while. And the song kind of is a little bit upbeat, but it's kind of like a quirky sadness, I guess. So it makes it sound very dark, but it's pretty fun. This is called I'm Not Crying, I Swallowed a Lake and It's Leaking. The carpets combine with the walls and combine with the ceiling. The doors open into the floors and the wallpaper's peeling. You're baking cookies and I'm eating dough. There's something that's missing in roasting the foe. And green is youth and greed. We can guess which is you. And I know it like a memory. And it's breaking every bone in me. Not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. I'm not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. The windows combine with the sky and combine all the birdies. The washer combines with the dryer and combines all the dirties. You're breathing roses and I'm smelling smoke. The difference in nose is the words that we spoke. And green is youth and green. We can guess which is you. We can guess which is you. And I know it like a memory. And it's breaking every bone in me. Not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. I'm not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. And I know it like a memory. And it's breaking every bone in me. I'm not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. I'm not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. I'm not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. I'm not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. I'm not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. I'm not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. Yay! It's weird doing songs without anyone here. It's like I'm doing a little concert for myself. Okay, this song is kind of like a sequel, if you will. I've never really done anything like that before. But the song that we heard 2 songs ago, Dream of You, was a part of a story that ended when it needed to end. But I wanted to kind of vent about it. And so I kind of wrote a sequel song, I guess I would say, called Remain, which is on the album as well. And I think there's a few parallels between they're pretty different, but there's a couple of parallels between the two songs that are distinct enough that you'd be able to tell if you were listening to them. And I'll point some of them out to you before we start the song so you can listen for them. So one that I'd like to note is the piano part is very similar to Dream of You, because as we remember, if you were here 10 minutes ago, the other piano part goes like this. So you have that bass line, bum, 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 that's happening in that song. In this song, it's in a different key, but this is how the beginning of the song starts. And then as the verse continues, you have this chord and then this chord, and then the bass line goes. So it's very similar, but it's a little bit darker. And there's also a couple of lyrics that are similar, but I'm not going to go through what all of those are. But that's the main similarity that I'd like you to pay attention to. So without further ado, here is Remain. It seems we lost ourselves so long ago. It seems you kept it on the down low. And I told everyone I know about how you would throw my heart into the snow. It's like you're a complete new person now. It's like I feel a newfound hate for how my brain spent a night on the town. My lungs took a deep bow, and you're the cat's meow. And everything around me stayed the same, but not all would remain. 'Cause you're the one who's fine, and I'm the one who's trying. The smirk that's on your face is proof that all it takes is one no wrong. Oh, why didn't I come out feeling strong? It feels like everything is falling down. It feels like leaves have turned from green to brown. For now, I'm lying on the ground. The feeling was profound. Now I can't hear the sound. Everyone around me stayed the same, but not all would remain. 'Cause you're the one who's fine, and I'm the one who's trying. The smirk that's on your face is proof that all it takes is one no wrong. Oh, why didn't I come out feeling strong? And every time I try to tell myself I'm wasting my design, and every time I see you smiling and remember you were mine. Although you'll never be yourself again, although you'll never see my heart and mend, I still remember how it was, the love that followed us, the why, how, and because. Everyone around me stayed the same, but not all would remain. 'Cause you're the one who's fine, and I'm the one who's trying. The smirk that's on your face is proof that all it takes is one no wrong. Oh, why didn't I come out feeling strong? And everything around me stayed the same, but not all would remain. Oh, why didn't I come out feeling strong? Okay, that was Remain from the album Light. And I have one more song for you. And then I'd like to answer any of your questions that you have about writing music, doing music, or like any questions like that are fun and not about that. Not that those questions aren't fun, but like, you know what I mean. But before we do that, this will give you some time to think about what you'd like to ask. And you can ask in the comments, and then I'll like look at them and answer. But in the meantime, I'd like to show you a song that I wrote in 2016, which is not on the album, exclusive. And it's called When Curtains Go Down. And I actually totally forgot about this song until today when I was looking through a binder, this binder actually, in my room. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So here is When Curtains Go Down. I think I still have a long way to go. I think I still have time, even though the world keeps going round so fast, and things I wish would live don't last, and I'm stuck in the matter of time. It's alright, it's okay, everything will be great. Just keep going second after second. Never know when you'll be back again. And in time you'll be fine. Something better will arise. For now, think how you'll bow when curtains go down. I think I'm still in my mind, sinking low. I think I'm still gonna find a place to go. The clocks keep skipping a minute. Used to watch, now I'm in it, and we're not sure how to steer. It's alright, it's okay, everything will be great. Just keep going second after second. Never know when you'll be back again. And in time you'll be fine. Something better will arise. For now, think how you'll bow when curtains go down. It's alright, it's okay, everything will be great. Just keep going second after second. Never know when you'll be back again. And in time you'll be fine. Something better will arise. For now, think how you'll bow when it's alright. It's okay, everything will be great. Just keep going second after second. Never know when you'll be back again. And in time you'll be fine. Something better will arise. For now, think how you'll bow when curtains go down. When curtains go down. When curtains go down. Yay, awesome. Okay, so now we have 15 minutes. So if you have a question that you would like me to answer, please insert it into the comments and I will answer it. Oh wow, there's a lot of comments that I didn't see. Okay, well, while I'm waiting for you, I will answer some questions that I received on my Instagram last week. There were 4 of them and they're not all related to music, so it'll be really interesting to see what they were. And here we go. Hold on. Sorry, it's taking me so long. I have a lot of recipes saved on my phone. Okay, here we go. Here's the first question. What is your favorite type of sand? That's a difficult one, and I had to think about it for a long time. My favorite type of sand is actually the really fine sand that doesn't feel like sand. Like the moon sand, is that what it's called? Like moon, like the foam that like is squishy that you play with as a kid, that's the type of sand that I like. Okay, second question. Do you prefer chocolate chip cookies or brownies? That is so hard. Chocolate chip cookies is my answer, I think. But that's so hard. Okay, last question from my phone, and then I will go to your questions. What song are you most excited for us to hear from the new album and why? Thank you, Sam, not Sam, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Saul, for asking me a real question. Okay, so my favorite song, I don't have a favorite, but the song that I'm most excited for you to hear on the album, if you haven't listened to it yet, is probably the last one, which I haven't played for you and won't play for you because my ukulele is not in this room. But it's called Love Look for Me, and it's really short. It's like 2 minutes long, and it's a weird situation because I wrote it while I was recording the album, and I recorded it like the next day, and then I just put it on. So it was really fast, but I really felt like that was what the album was missing. And I think it fits there. So I'm excited for you to hear that one. Okay. I'm going to look at your questions. What's your songwriting process? Ooh, that's a juicy question. Okay. So I think it kind of depends on where your inspiration is coming from. And everybody has a different answer to this question. My personal answer is I don't want to say I wait for inspiration to hit because that is not what happens. But I do kind of catalog my ideas. I have a huge accordion folder in my room that is just full of little tiny note cards, which actually a song on the album, which I also haven't played today, Metamorphosis, is formed almost entirely out of note cards of lyric ideas that I had that I just wrote down and then forgot about. And then one day I just went surfing through my little kernels. It's called Thought Kernels, is the section of my folder that has all of those. And they it's just like a bunch of different little tiny phrases. For example, the line in one of the songs that I played earlier, I'm not crying, I swallowed a lake and it's leaking. The title of that song was a thought kernel that I wrote down. And the phrase green is youth and greed is a line that I came up with in an English class in 11th grade. Because we were talking about, I guess, like symbolism, and I was thinking about Othello and the green-eyed monster in Othello, but then I was also kind of thinking about how green also symbolizes growing. And so I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I wrote it down and then I just used it later. So I kind of like compile ideas that I've previously had. And so because of that, songs can form from, oh, this goes with the question that Sophia just asked. Some songs can come from lyrics first and some songs can come from melody first. It kind of just depends on what idea I chose to run with. So like right before I came onto this live, I started writing a melody that I have no words for. But like I will eventually put words on it, and it might be words that I had written previously that I'm just reforming for this melody, or it might be lyrics that I write as I'm listening to the melody. That's like not helpful at all. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of like a little look into like the writing process. And I also try to record while I'm writing the lyrics. So like and the chord progression, I'll like record and I'll like think aloud, I guess. So I'll like I can listen back and then like if I come up with a line that I liked immediately forgot about it, I can go back and play it and be like, right, okay, that's how that was. So hopefully that helps with your question. Okay. Next question. Okay. Do the people who've written songs about you know, or that you've written songs about, know that you've written songs about them? Oh, that's a great question. So the positive songs that I've written, people know. The negative songs that I've written, people I hope don't know, but if they know, I'm okay with that. I think the thing about it is it's a very like songwriting is a very cathartic process, but it's also very like it's very exposing. So it's kind of like a blessing and a curse because you want it to be something where you can kind of like help you with working through whatever emotions you're having, but you also want it to be something where you're not being mean. So I try not to be mean in my songs. Um, but I think, I mean, if people know, I'm fine with that, is my short response. But yeah, they don't know. They don't know. I don't tell them, hey, I wrote a song that's angry about you. Um, okay. How do you keep from being too repetitive? That's a great question. Um, I think I do struggle with that a lot, and especially in my, I'm very aware that the songs that I write that are about people, I like to write nice songs about my friends and about like family. I wrote the last album that I put out was an EP that was about my family, and each track was about a member of my family. And I tried, that was kind of an exercise for me to try not to write repetitively, because I like writing songs with people's names in them, but then it's difficult to make them different from each other. Um, and so I think what I would say about like repetitiveness in music is I usually, when I'm aware that it's repetitive or that I've done it before, I try to kind of like like look at it in a new way. I'll like take a break from it, or I'll like turn it upside down and be like, how can I make this like different? For example, yesterday I heard a melody that I really liked, so I listened to it a bunch of times, and then I was like, I really like this, but I don't want to do the same exact thing. I'm just going to flip it upside down. And then after I flipped it upside down, it became something completely different, and it wasn't being repetitive anymore. So that's kind of like my, I guess, tip for not being repetitive all the time is like moving it or giving yourself a new focal point from when you're looking at it from. Okay, another question. Ooh, okay. What are your long-term goals? Do you want music to be your profession? Wow, these are great questions. Um, the short answer is I don't really know. I I think I well, at Brandeis I'm a music and theater double major, um, which is like those are kind of different, surprisingly, even though you'd think that they'd be similar. Um, and I think my primary like goal for my career is musical theater, but also um you can tell that I have some musical theater influences in my writing. So I'd also be interested in writing for musical theater, and I've done a little bit of that, but not a whole lot. But I think ideally I'd like to continue putting out music and not necessarily doing it as my job because that's so hard to make money from. Um, but if for some reason that were able to happen, then I would totally do that as my job. Is my short answer, I guess. Um, okay, how long does it usually take you to? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, this is kind of like there's no real answer, I think, to how long it takes to write a song because okay, when I'm writing one of the songs, like for example, when curtains go down, the one that I just played you, I probably wrote that in about 2 hours. But then after I wrote it, I always record it and then I always listen to it constantly and then I make changes um, pretty much continuously. So to initially lay down the bones of a song, it takes about an hour to 2 hours for me personally, but that's different for everyone. And as I said before, like if I'm writing a song with pieces that I have compiled from years and years of just randomly rambling in my brain about things, that does not take an hour. That takes like a year. Um, and I think real songs that are like, not that these aren't real songs, but songs that are crafted very intricately and are are written for a specific purpose might take longer than a song that you're writing um, because it's relevant right now. Um, like I know this is a very cliched example, but my shot from Hamilton took a year to write. And that song is about 6 minutes long, but there's so much information happening in it, and there's so much detail that it took that long to write. Whereas one of these songs is not something that's conveying historical information necessarily, but it's more like in the moment emotion, and it's kind of like you're rushing to get it out because you don't want the like energy that you're having to go away and then you to not feel motivated to finish it anymore. Um, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's how I would answer that. Let me make sure I didn't miss any. Do you have Oh, okay. Um, okay, I guess this is a question. Um, coming up with oh, that's actually something that I struggle with too, is coming up with creative melodies after I write the lyrics in a way that is like creative. I think that's a two-way street difficulty because when you're writing lyrics that are creative, it's hard to make the melody interesting, and when you're writing a melody that's interesting, it's hard to make lyrics that are interesting. In my experience, I think I definitely agree with you. I think for me, that's kind of why it helps to kind of write lyrics and melody completely separately from each other. um I can think of a couple instances where I would like sit and just write words and not really think about structure or like how they would fit with music, and kind of focus on them kind of being more like a poem, and then with those in mind kind of try to like write a melody that is like independent, but gives the, I guess, vibe of the lyrics that you've written, and then trying to piece them together. And when you do it like that, it's really effective because you have creativity in both aspects of what you're writing, but also you kind of have to compromise a lot because you'll find that what you've written doesn't always go with the other part of what you've written, and you have to kind of make adjustments constantly. You have to make changes, all sorts of things like that. So I guess I would say, if you're struggling with making a creative second piece of your song after you've written the first part of it, I think my advice would be similar to your concerns about being repetitive. Is just like flipping it upside down, trying to look at it backwards. And also I think taking a break from it is, it sounds counterintuitive, but I think it's super helpful. Um, Yeah, and I think also just trying to listen to as much music as I can is something that's been helpful for me. And also listening to as much music as possible in as many genres as possible, because if you're only listening to like rock, you're only going to get influences from rock, and you're going to be exclusively writing in that style. And I think if as a singer-songwriter you want to be as versatile as possible, and kind of limits you when you're only able to write in one genre. And also most artists in general don't really write in one genre, even if they say they do. And so I think kind of exposing yourself to as much music as possible is doing you a favor, both because you get to listen to great music, but also because you kind of get exposed to a lot of different types of songwriting and a lot of different structures of music. So that's the other advice that I would give. Okay, we have 1 minute left, and so my time is up. But it was so nice to get to have a little concert in your living rooms. And if you haven't yet, please, please listen to my new album. It is called Light. You can search Lizzy Hilliard Light, Lizzy with a Y, and it'll be pretty much everywhere. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, Pandora, Instagram stories, TikTok. Make a viral TikTok out of it, please. I beg you. um, and yeah, so thank you so much for coming. And please, please, please listen to the music. Okay. It was so nice to see you all. Bye bye.